Visit a city financial planner and the grunt work of drafting documents and agreements might be done here.
That's possible. With technology the way it is, you don't need to be in a big city, particularly if you want to have a professional job.
How Rachel Bragg works is called BPO, Business Process Outsourcing.
So now people are looking to outsource that work because it's just easier.
It's somebody that you give discrete pieces of work to complete them on your behalf.
Companies pay to hand over control to specialists. It's long established for frontline tasks like call centres and help desks to be contracted out. Now, increasingly difficult tasks are being outsourced.
I think there's a massive opportunity within the entire labour market to realise that I don't need to have a full-time payroll person and a full-time marketing person and a full-time facilities person in my organisation in order to deliver the outcomes that my organisation needs to deliver.
This is Rosebud. It's beautiful, but it's beyond the train network and it's a brutal 75-kilometre commute to Melbourne city centre. The work-from-home revolution has transformed the lives of people who live here. But is it an opportunity or a threat? Shutting offices and sending workers home during the pandemic may have opened the eyes of some bosses that they don't need as many staff as before.
I think that's clearly a risk.
Dr. Brendan Rinn says the design of the JobKeeper wage subsidy, cementing the link between employers and employees, showed the government's concern about businesses using technology to shed workers.
What you're going to see is businesses realise that they're in fact able to produce either a similar amount of output or something close to it with much fewer workers.
Probe Group employs 6,000 people in Australia and more in the Asian region to answer phones and deal with customers. You've probably never heard of them, and that's how they like it.
In actual fact, if you speak to our people and say, who do you work for, they typically say the client that they're representing.
Mr Hume says the bulk of work sent offshore is less complex and more likely to be automated in the near future. Locals are being engaged on difficult, sensitive and higher value jobs.
What are now being called knowledge services, so very specialised tasks like web app development, SEO, SEM support, content moderation, mortgage origination, so very precise and complex knowledge tasks.
And it's not all one way. The internet and apps now take care of routine inquiries, like checking bank balances and booking appointments. With mainly complex queries left and concerns about data security and privacy, companies are now reshoring jobs. Westpac just brought 1,000 call centre jobs back from India and the Philippines.
Have created a bit of risk for themselves being overly concentrated in a country where that country wasn't able to recover perhaps from the COVID situation.
The ability to lower those barriers and those obstacles it's not a question of, should we, it's why shouldn't we?
Go-between Charles Ferguson acts as an employer for companies that want to hire around the globe and sees a bright future for regional Australians.
They're not necessarily interested or care if they're in Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, etc. They're interested in the market as a whole. So this is a huge opportunity to open up paths for talent there.
High unemployment looks set to drag on people's lives and the economy for years. Technology and the drive to business process outsourcing opens up regional and global competition to previously protected and high-paid jobs. Discrete, piecemeal work may benefit some people, but it's a precarious way to base employment.
This pandemic has forced their hand in creating some of that flexibility, and that might start to tip them over the edge to realising that there is another way.
The edge is a tough place to live.